and welcome to the latest in this series of Our Lockdown Stories, which is a series of short videos in which I'm interviewing a few of our members about their life as a KLS member and also about their experiences over the last few months in lockdown. And today I'm really pleased to be joined by Joshua. Hey Joshua, how are you doing?
Hello, not too bad, thank you.
Great, fantastic. Let's just jump straight into it. So if you could start by telling people who are watching a little bit about yourself and about your background as a KLS member.
So I'm Joshua Vukanig. I am the grandson of Shirley and Norman Crevice, who were founder members of the synagogue.
Brilliant.
So that gives me some history with it. I've been at the synagogue my entire life, which involved doing bar mitzvah here, doing Judaism GCSE here, and a Kabbalat Torah, as well as teaching at Beit Hinu.
Fantastic. I think that makes you a KLS pedigree, doesn't it? If there is such a thing.
I would hope so.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And you said you've been teaching at Beit Hinu.
I have been, yes, in the now B'nai Mitzvah class, which means that I get to see other people doing what I got to do here.
That must be great for them, though, because obviously you did it not that long ago. So it must be great for them to kind of be taught and mentored by somebody who's been through it relatively recently as well.
I suppose it's still in my memory, but yeah. I mean, it's quite possible I get more out of it than they do, because I'm really pleased that I can give something back to the KLS community.
Oh,
and this seems to be the best way that I can manage that.
No, that's brilliant, Joshua. And tell us what you've been doing during lockdown, because I know that's part of obviously what you've been doing during lockdown, because we interviewed Carolyn about a week ago, and obviously she explained to us that Beit Hinu has been continuing online throughout the whole of the period, obviously with a break for the summer. So tell us a little bit more about what you've been doing during lockdown, both in relation to Beit Hinu and anything else.
On the Beit Hinu side, thanks to the great efforts of Carolyn and our teachers, yes, we managed to keep going, and that has been almost a lifesaver for me during some of the lockdown period, because it kept me in some sort of regular timetable. I knew that at least on my Saturdays I had a schedule, I had something to do. At the beginning, I was just finishing year 13, which is A-level year. So once they announced that schools would close, my school kept sending me work to do for the first month, maybe slightly over. And then once it was fairly obvious to all that the exams wouldn't happen and that there was not really much point in continuing, the school stopped sending me work, which left me without much to do.
Gosh.
So from that point onwards, Beit Hinu was very useful. And once the lockdown started to ease, I could finally get back to meeting people, friends and family and all sorts. So it's been nice to get back into contact, especially with school friends, which I've been doing more recently.
Yeah. So it's been a pretty tough time.
It's been difficult. I've had to find new things to do. So reading's been one of them. Some of that is good preparation for university.
Fantastic. So what are your plans in terms of university, Josh?
I have got a place at Durham, which I have happily accepted.
Oh, huge mazel tov.
Thank you. And I am really looking forward to being able to go there.
And you're going this autumn, are you?
I am at the end of September.
Yeah.
And it's still anyone's game quite what is going on with the teaching there. Durham seem to be saying that they will do normal teaching.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. And what subject are you going to be studying?
I'm going to be doing archaeology of the historic world, which is a mix between archaeology and history.
That sounds fascinating. That sounds really fascinating.
Sounded fascinating to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, certainly when you're coming back to shul and everything during the holiday period, you're gonna get a lot of questions from people asking you all about that, I'm sure. So Josh, obviously, in terms of the involvement with KLS during the lockdown, you've been incredibly involved and really that's been really valuable. Have you been attending services as well online?
I can remember a few that I particularly enjoyed. I have attended some. So the Seder service was really nice. That was one of I think that had almost the highest number of KLS attendees I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
So got to see some old faces there.
Yeah.
And there was a goodbye service for Tom Smith, which was really nice because
Oh,
I
of
got to
course.
see some people from LJY, which I'm also a part of, Liberal Jewish Youth Movement.
Yeah, of course, because Tom Smith is making Aliyah, isn't he? And we held a
Yes,
service for him back in, oh, I can't even remember when it was. May, I
can't
think it was
either.
probably. Yeah, yeah. No, that was
All
that
feels a
was
long time ago.
yeah, it was a special service. That's right. And yeah, the Seder was great. The Seder was really great because that was quite early on in lockdown as well. That was only a couple of weeks into it, wasn't
Mhm.
it?
We probably didn't expect it would keep going quite this long. It
No, I don't think we did. I
felt
don't
like a
think we
welcome
did.
break, but it was so little through it all.
Yeah, it absolutely was. You're absolutely right. What has this involvement meant to you, just generally, over the last few months?
As I said, it has kept a format to my life. It's been quite helpful in that, and it's it's really nice that I have this community to fall back on when
Mm,
school isn't available. So seeing people from KLS in either online services or teaching has been a good way to
yeah,
connect with people in a otherwise time of isolation.
yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, and structure's so important as well, isn't it? Having and obviously with the schoolwork, that was totally taken away from you. So yeah, being able to have some structure as well. Gosh, um, would you say that your relationship with your Judaism has changed at all as a result of this?
Only very slightly, in that it's perhaps it has given me more time to think about what I am teaching at Beit
Okay.
I can actually look at it all. I can plan in advance, because previously it was slightly harder to tell what I'd be doing on the day when I
Mm,
came into the synagogue on Saturday, whereas now it is entirely
mm,
up to me, because there's no one else to
mm.
give instructions. So it's meant I can choose what I would like to teach them for my session.
Right. So you've been able to put a bit more kind of thought into it and
Yeah, and I
okay.
found things that I otherwise wouldn't have.
Okay, so that leads us on quite nicely to the final question, which is what have you learnt during lockdown?
What have I learned? I've learned the structure meant more to me than I thought, because
Interesting.
as a slightly unstructured person, I suppose I would have thought it would be liberating, but it's only liberating for the first few weeks. Beyond that, it gets difficult. Um, yeah, I've learned how much communities mean to me,
Mm,
and meeting school friends in the last few weeks has been wonderful, because when you don't have the people your age to be around, it is so different,
mm,
and getting that back has shown how much that does mean to me.
yeah, that's fantastic, Josh. That's wonderful. And I think, a lot of those things have been echoed by other people, but I think, it's been really good to hear from somebody who, has been so involved with Beitenu during that time as well and keeping that going. But also really interesting to hear it from the point of view of somebody who has, as I said, you kind of had the rug pulled out from you when the schools closed and the exams were cancelled. So really interesting to hear about all of that, and so glad that you've obviously found some kind of comfort and structure and routine in the community. That's been brilliant, and so excited to hear that you're going to Durham as well.
Thank you.
Really proud of you. That's really good. So listen, Josh, thank you so much for joining us and agreeing to take part in this series.
Thank you very much for having me. It's
And
been great.
like I say, all the best for Durham. Hopefully I'll see you before you actually go. But like I say, it'd be fascinating to hear all about your studies and your adventures when you get there, and obviously when you come back to see us over the holiday periods. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Okay. And
Thank
stay
you.
tuned for those watching because there are more coming where this one came from. Bye bye.